Hello my sea pirates, Seabro here, and in this video we are going to be looking at chokes. Exciting stuff, let's jump straight into the video. What is a choke? This is a choke. This is a choke, and this is a choke. Anything that funnels the enemy into an enclosed area is a choke, and whilst they are often associated with brawl compositions, they can be used by any type of composition, whether that be spam, brawl, dive, or somewhere in between. All chokes are unique, but in general they can be categorized into two types: hard chokes and soft chokes. The definition for them aren't perfect, and there are definitely room for judgment on what constitutes a soft choke and a hard choke. But in general, hard chokes are the ones that you usually find really hard to push through. They are usually smallish, fairly deep, or there is only really one suitable path for the attacking team. Effectively, they have to push through this choke, and they're going to find it bloody hard to do so. Soft chokes are usually optional chokes that they can bypass by going somewhere else, or sometimes they're just too big or easy to deal with. An example of a soft choke is here on Temple of Anubis. You can take multiple angles or go above. Here on Eigenwald is another example. You have multiple angles that you can push through. An example of a hard choke is the King's Row Arch, Hanamura point A, Paris point A, and basically all of the dumb ass poo poo chokes that make you rage in the game. The important thing to remember with either of these types of chokes is that you hold them with what we call killboxes. Every single choke in the game has two associated killboxes on either side of the choke. Killboxes are just areas of the map that you can take angles and force a favoured engagement. It's ultra vague, but I think Spilo explained it the best.
And the best way that I can verbally describe them is, as opposed to physically describe them, is it's basically a location where your team is set up to take a fight onto the enemy team with as many angles as possible.
For the purpose of this video, as the enemy pushes past the choke, they enter a killbox, and that is when you want to engage. For example, killboxes can be found here on Hanamura, here on King's Row, and here on Oasis. It's these killboxes that we want to play for, no matter what composition we are running. It's very common that people play for the choke and not for the killbox. Here's an example of what that looks like. Here on Busan Mecha Base, let's say we are running Ryan Zarya and trying to hold this choke. If we stick our Reinhardt shield up here, we really aren't likely to kill anyone because they have the option of finding cover. So unless we are doing something like surprise window fire strike, or the enemy are bots and just die to McCree PPs, then we aren't doing anything of value other than shredding our Reinhardt shield. Similarly, if we are running spam and we set up like so, when they decide to push, then we aren't in position to make any use out of this kill box. They'll just run us over. Instead, you want to spread out further and get ready for the juicy fight that is about to happen in the kill box. So now I've introduced this idea of a kill box, how do we actually make use of them? Well, it can get ultra complicated based on what your team is running, what the enemy team is running, what choke you are trying to hold, and what ultimates are online. But in general, it depends on your ability at keeping map control. Brawl compositions, generally speaking, want to play fairly close to the choke because their optimal range is short. Spam-based compositions want to play much further away in order to keep the distance, but also because their effective range is much longer. And if you are holding a choke for dive, you want to play far enough out that all members of your team can dive anyone in the kill box. Basically, you want to play as far away from the choke as is possible for your composition because it means that the kill box becomes much bigger. If you think about it, as your team spreads out, assuming they've got range to actually affect the kill box, then the kill box expands, right? Whereas if you hold really close to the choke, then the kill box is really small. But it's also really important that you play somewhere where everyone on your team has some sort of cover and is in that effective range. Let's look at some examples. This is King's Row again. Let's say we are running a brawl composition. Our effective range is small, so you want to hold close like so. The further we back up, the larger our kill box is. But at the same time, the range of our composition isn't enough, so if we set up here for example, we actually give up the kill box and they can run down our team for free. And we can see that we give up the kill box because if they move into the kill box, what are we going to do about it? Nothing. Now let's look at spam. They might set up like so. This gives them a massive kill box and it makes it much harder for the enemy team to push. And let's say we are running dive. They might set up like so. Again, everybody in the team has the ability to engage in on the kill box. But what you'll notice about all of these examples is that they all utilise angles, and that is the most important part of holding chokes and punishing killboxes, because it's the angles that allow you to punish the enemy so effectively. On archers on King's Row, we can set up stacked like so, but then this choke just becomes a corner, and they get free cover. They can just play round the corner and back up as soon as they want. With spam, if we set up stacked, then they get free cover. And this is really important with killboxes and chokes, because if the enemy has the ability to disengage, then your killbox is kind of useless. This is meant to be a killbox. You're meant to kill things. And without angles, it's more of a tickle box. So it's really important, and I'll say it again, no matter your composition, you need angles to effectively force the fight in a killbox. Otherwise they can just back up or seek cover at will. Now let's do a 180, completely change the subject, and talk about abilities. This is something that is really easy for any team to implement. Like I said at the start of this video, chokes funnel people into a small area, right? And this makes it great for AoE abilities. Abilities like Anti-Nade, Dynamite and Fire Strike. All those lot, if you use them just as the enemy team leaves the chokes and enters your killbox, it's often really easy to win the fight. Killboxes are hard enough for the enemy to push through as it is, but if they enter the killbox, anti-naded and on fire, how are they expected to win that fight? Maywall is also a really useful ability at chokes, like mega useful, but I'll talk about that more in the next episode. Sorry for jumping all over the place, but now I want to talk about pushing through chokes. When attacking through a choke, you can do a few things. Firstly, you can bypass the choke completely. Especially if you're running a Lucio, you can play the run to another choke as quickly as possible game. Or you could play the run to the other choke as quickly as possible game featuring only kidding, I'm actually using the old choke game. It's like a game of tag where you run around the house like a madman trying to avoid the enemy team. But yeah, if you can avoid the choke that they're so preciously holding by just going through another choke, doesn't sound like a bad idea, right? Another option is to just first Q and break the choke with the good old fashioned way of using more ultimates than the other team. And lastly, the most common and probably the easiest way to relieve pressure on the killbox and push hard into a choke is flankers. Killboxes work because the enemy takes angles and focuses their attention. If you divert that attention and neutralise the angles, it will be much easier to push. And well, obviously, if you're feeling cheddar cheesy, then you can teleport through or pass the choke. But that's lame and a good indicator that you have no friends. Only kidding. Maybe. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. The next video will focus on Maywalls at chokes, so look forward to that. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and watch out for future episodes in this series. Generally though, I hope you're all doing great. As always, if you have any pesky questions, then plop them down below. But for now, Cbro is signing out. See ya.